Let's see. If y'all got some stocks that y'all think look good or you want to look at, you know what I'm saying? Just drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. We can take a look at it. That's what we got the watch list for. I'll show y'all how I do this every week, every day. You know, I do the same thing. My process is the same. How I find my stocks is the exact same process. The only thing that changes is the types of entry I'm looking for. So that's the only thing that ever changes is the types of entries. The process of finding the plays is always the same. Okay. Y'all let me know if you can see it. Well, you probably can't see it. I ain't even share screen. Let me see. All right. Y'all should see it now. Let me know whenever you can. You can see that. All right, cool. Cool, 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 cool. All right, let's get it, man. Y'all see, I literally just got home. I still got on my good clothes. So so we finna do this thing. Let's go ahead. Let's see. All right, so I always start by analyzing SPY and QQQ. The reason I do that is because when people say the market, you know, quote unquote, the market, most of the time they're talking about SPY and QQQ. And the reason for that is they are ETFs that pretty much hold all the major stocks. So S&P holds the top 500, um, stocks. The ones like Apple, Microsoft, all of those are the ones that are heavier weighted. So, you know, you always want to analyze those two. And guys know I'm not a fan of saying focus on a couple stocks. I'm not a fan of that. But what I will tell you is if you want to focus on a couple stocks, focus on SPY and QQQ. If you are the type of person where you just, for whatever reason, I don't encourage it, but if you just want to focus on a couple stocks, let that be SPY and QQQ. Those are two stocks or two of the only stocks, in my opinion, that you can almost trade every day. And I say almost because not even every day, but there are some people that only trade those stocks, and for good reason, because they always going to give you some type of move unless you're just in a crazy consolidation. So I do like those. All right. So looking at SPY, one thing that I see off rip, right? So let me tell you what I'm looking for first. I always look for um are we near key levels, and I'm looking for if we're in a pattern or breaking a pattern, right? So are we near key levels, or are we in a pattern or breaking a pattern? And the reason I'm looking for that on the larger time frame, such as the daily, is because the larger the time frame, the larger the move. So when you see things happening on a daily, when we think about this from a day trading perspective, if you see a move that is going to happen on a daily, that means that that move is going to be bigger than a move that you'll see on a 5 minute, right? So think about if you can see, and it also matters too is when you see something that's near a level, you need to ask yourself, okay, where's the next level? Because the space between the levels is what tells you how much you can potentially make, right? And it's also dependent on the stock. A $3 move on SPY is amazing. A $3 move on Tesla is, yeah, it's okay. It ain't nothing to brag home about unless you get in some really good contracts, which will cost you a lot of money, right? So always ask yourself, are we near levels? Are we in a pattern? Like, what is the overall trend? And then is there opportunity, right? So you have to use your arsenal. Do you see when you find the trend, we're going up, we're going down, whatever. Do you see continuation patterns? Do you see strength, right? How's the volume looking? All those types of things play into account. So if we look at SPY, this is actually a setup that I kind of see that is actually a little bit of a bearish setup. Doesn't mean that we're going to keep going down, but from what I did have already here, and I actually plotted this on the with the mentorship last week. SPY is actually in a supply zone. So think of supply kind of like resistance. The difference between supply and demand and support and resistance is supply and demand are areas or zones. Support and resistance are exact points, right? So SPY right now is in a supply zone. So that basically means that there was a time in the past where SPY got up to this point, and this is where the selling initiated, right? So you can see this very nice down move here that initiated from up here. We are also near all-time highs. So the all-time high for SPY, I go ahead and plot that for you, is right there. So I'm just going to say all-time high. Oops, sorry. Let's get that right. Text, all-time high, ATH. So that's all-time high for SPY, right around 480, very close to 480, right? So the problem with all-time high right now is that we have a level right here from the daily, and we're also in this supply zone. So we got to the supply zone and came back down. The setup that I do see here though is called bearish divergence. So bearish divergence, if you take a look at your stop and your RSI, the stock is making higher highs, right? Stock is making higher highs. The RSI is making lower highs. So that's contradicting itself because the RSI is supposed to move based on how the stock moves. So when that RSI is doing something opposite of the stock, that's when you need to be saying, okay, well, what's going on, right? And that doesn't mean that the stock is just gonna fall, right? Because it could go sideways and then cool off the RSI. But this is a setup that usually means that you may see some type of, some type of downturn. Um, so that is a bearish setup. So knowing that you have this, we're going to talk about, how I think about this. How I would think about this from this point is, okay, where does this really become bearish? Um, and if I was to have seen this before, this actually looks like it might have been like a rising wedge a little bit, maybe. This did like it maybe have been a rising wedge. Um, possibly. But how I would look at this now is I want to find out, okay, where are my levels to the downside? If I know this is a bearish setup as of right now, where are my levels to the downside that I want to be like, okay, under this point, we're gonna fall. And without even going back too far, I can already tell you that if we get under right here, right, the next place that we kind of see from here, now this is just without even going back, you got a very nice drop, right? So right around here, it's not the exact point, but it's right around this area, right? So around that 460, which is gonna be perfect. So this is 467 to 460. You see nothing but green candles, right? So a lot of times when you see nothing but green candles going up, them red candles can come take it out just as fast. When you see a bunch of red candles going down, those green candles can take it out just as fast. All right. So that's one point that I'm like, okay, under here, I'm willing to put, I'm willing to bet you guys that we are probably going to come back down here if we don't hold 467. So we need to hold 467 on SPY. And we're gonna put this puts under here. Puts under here. We want puts under that point, right? But now you got to think about it like this. Well, where is it right now? It's at 475. So you're still what, $8 away? You're still like $8 away from that, right? But from the daily time frame, this is the level that will give you the best opportunity to make some money because this is how far this thing can drop. An $8 move, right? So, sorry, not an $8, but it might be 79, 479. Yeah, it's like an $8 move. So you guys tell me, is this 467.64 to 459.24? Is that enough for you to make a profit on SPY? On puts, is that enough for you to make some money on SPY? $8. Yep, exactly. Exactly. That's more than enough, right? So that's way more than enough room for you to make money on puts on spot. Perfect. Cool. So we know under this point, we definitely are looking for puts. All right, cool. Now, the problem is we're far away from that. So something that you can do here is say, okay, I know that under this is my daily level that I'm looking to take it down to this point. And the great thing about making your watches like this is you don't have to catch this whole move. Just think about how much you can make off a SPY going up or down $1. Depending on what kind of contracts you get, that can be 15, 20, sometimes even more than that, 30% off of $1 move. So imagine if you catch $1.50 or $2 off of this huge move that can happen, right? So you just gotta, you know, just be aware. You always want to be aware and have a bullish and bearish case. Right now, we're looking at the bearish case because this is what we see first. All right. So what I would do now, I would say, okay, well, what are my levels? Do I have anything in between that I need to worry about? Because as of right now, in my opinion, as of right now, if I come down the time frame, well, even before I come down, I don't really see anything here that I would be plotting because I don't really have three touches anywhere. No, you don't have three touches anywhere. So as of right now, your levels from the daily is 476, 467. That's a huge gap, right? So let's come down the time frame and say, okay, what do we see from here? From this point, you still see the bearish divergence. Cool. And now we kind of say, okay, well, what do we have in between? And is that enough to really make a profit? Because every level isn't a good level to take, right? So you only want to take the strongest levels. And I'm kind of looking here, and I mean, you can 470, you can say 470 because I mean, whole numbers are always going to be like, areas, but you do have about three touches there. So I wouldn't be mad at that. So I'm gonna put 4 hour because that's where I found that level at. Anything else that I kind of see in between, anything else that I kind of like, and I'm only looking for strong levels, right? You don't want to just plot any and everything. 472. I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at that. You got 3 or 4 touches here from the 4 hour, maybe even a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's decent. It's decent. All right, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So we kind of got $2 increments right here. So right now we're at 474. Well, that's where the pre-market stuff closed at after the day. After the day on Friday. Let me see anything else that I would really plot. Looks like we're gonna just be in like $2 increments, kind of. That's kind of close. That's kind of close. I wouldn't mind that either. I wouldn't be mad at it. Okay, so I can say these from the 4 hour. I wouldn't be mad at these from the 4 hour. So this is basically telling me right now, if we get under here, I'm expecting to go here. Under this, I'm expecting it to go here, right? That doesn't mean it's gonna come all the way down like that, but it could hit here and go back up. It could start coming down, form some type of pattern, some type of continuation pattern, and go to the upside. It could very well do that. That's why we're gonna look at both sides of this. But as of right now, I mean, this thing can fall because this definitely does, what's looking like a rising wedge. Definitely was a rising wedge that kind of broke down. But kind of what you're looking for is either the continuation breakdown. And if you don't get that, all right, so we're looking for puts if we kind of keep coming down here, possibly. But if we don't keep coming down, now we gotta start thinking about the other side, the upside, right? So you could get little put plays here and there in these levels, but the one that we really want to be aware of is this one right here. This is the one that we want. We want them puts heavy under this. This the one we really want, right? So these could be cool, but this is the one that's gonna bring the money. Cause look at this, you pretty much just got green candles, just straight green almost. When you got straight green, it can come down just as fast. Y'all have seen in the markets. All of you have in here have been seeing this long enough to know this stuff goes down faster than it goes up. So we want to be aware. So if you got to set an alert, do what you got to do. For if SPY gets to this point, you want to know that, hey, I need to be looking at puts because I know this thing can possibly fall to 460. Um, so that's downside. So we got a few levels right there to downside if we kind of get that continuation. So that's cool. As far as upside, it gets a little bit tougher because you're kind of going to be playing upside into this supply zone and this resistance up here. But the all-time high is very close. So as far as playing calls, I wouldn't play any calls on SPY until we get above this point right here. So I kind of see right here, we got a lot of touches right here just from the past few sessions, couple sessions really. Got a lot of touches around this area. So unless we get above this, I wouldn't touch calls, because we can be choppy. We can chop right here and form some type of pattern, right? So I'm not looking for calls until we get above this. And we can start looking at puts if we kind of start keep coming down because we know we broke the rising wedge pattern. So we can be on the lookout for that. Um, that would be my game plan on SPY. I wouldn't take calls until we get above that. Then we kind of just monitoring puts cautiously because the overall trend, you'd be a fool to just try to short this thing right now. I mean, yeah, you know, but the setup is definitely there. I will say that. So that's the game plan on SPY. Let me know if that makes sense on SPY or what doesn't make sense about that. The way that I kind of just broke that down a little bit as far as what we're looking for to the upside, what we're looking for to the downside. Why? Let's talk. Let's see what y'all think. All right. Say it makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So let's go to QQQ. Probably a lot of the same. So I probably won't go super in depth on QQQ because it probably looks kind of similar to SPY, which it does. Looks very similar, right? So they look pretty similar because they hold a lot of the same stocks. Um, a lot of the same thing with QQQ. I can see here, and I put this on the daily. Same type thing. Like you got some bearish divergence right here. If I was kind of just draw a line, trend line right here, just kind of show it's bearish divergence, and it's at all-time highs as well, pretty much. So, you know, this thing really kind of needs a pullback, but you really just can't rush this stuff, man. So QQ is at all-time high. It gets tough to spot them levels to the upside with all-time high. So I would more so probably be watching SPY if I was you. I probably wouldn't play QQQ right now. Me personally. Me personally, I wouldn't. Um, so I'm not really as interested in QQQ. I mean, it obviously we see we got a lot of room that we can fall QQQ. We got a lot of room we can fall. The last place that we was kind of struggling at before we really broke out, it was right up in this area. And this 390 was a really tough area, which you kind of see we kind of got faked out a couple times, but um around that 390 is where we struggle last. So that's definitely a level that you got to watch out for to the downside. But like I said, man, it's so far away, right? So we'll kind of be looking for if we start getting that downturn, then I would more so kind of start digging deep into that. But not really a big setup, so kind of just moving on. Not too much of a setup like SPY was. All right, let's see. We got Apple. So once again, Once again, we're looking for, is it near key levels? Is it in a pattern? If it's not, kind of moving on. Just from looking at it right now, I mean, the chart is just, it's just kind of ugly to me. I'm not really seeing too much at all, honestly. So this wouldn't be something that I would watch personally. Amazon, Amazon, I got all kind of stuff on Amazon. So Amazon actually looks like it's trying to fall a little bit here. Something you got to be on the watch for Amazon. If it does start pulling back, what you want to look for is a pullback down to around here, right? So this 148 area. You see, we got a lot of consolidation at 148. So if we was to come back to 148 and form like a bullish hammer off of 148 or something like that, we'll be looking to buy, right? Because that would be a break and retest. But besides that, all right, not really looking to play it. Could you have more upside? Yes, but I'm not really looking at upside right now because it's obviously like it's going to the downside, right? So, not something I would be watching. Google, Google. I got a lot of stuff on them too. Should label all them levels. I know all this stuff is pretty much daily levels though. Google doesn't like anything I'll be watching either. I mean, not really nothing that I would watch either right now, me personally. I'm not really seeing a whole lot. It was struggling here. Kind of broke out, couldn't get back above Friday or whatever day this was, Thursday. Um, so I mean, not really too much that I would watch. Honestly. I wouldn't be watching. Not interested in Google either. Boeing. I can go ahead and tell you, Boeing is one that I'm interested in. Boeing is scary. It's kind of scary, but the setup is there. So, what do you guys think this is, right? If you can think about a pattern, what pattern is this? If you know, I'll highlight it again. BF, yep. That's a bull flag pattern. So, what does a bull flag pattern mean? The bull flag pattern tells you that something is likely to continue. And the reason you really want to kind of watch this is because a lot of times that when you start thinking about how far can a breakout go, you want to look at the pole, right? The scary part about this is the pole, depending on how you're looking at it, someone could say that the pole is all the way down here. I mean, because you got pretty much straight green candles. Someone could say that the pole started all the way down here because this is where the run really started. So a way that you can kind of figure out sometimes, the first way that you figure out how far something can go is by the levels, obviously. But another way you can find out how far something can go, if it's in a pattern, you can take the impulse move. The impulse move is the move up or the move down before it formed a pattern. So if I just literally take this trend line and put it right here where it would break out at, this says 334. And you might be like, dang, man, you think it's going all the way up there? That'll be all time high. That'll be all time high. You think it's going to be all time high, but it's really not. That's not all time high at all. If we take a look back here, this is 2019, 2020. Now, some of y'all that's in here, y'all was trading during that time. So y'all know. But if you don't know, Boeing used to be very, very expensive. And what do we see here? Think about what I just told y'all. Think about what I just told y'all with SPY when you had those candles that was going like straight green, straight red. It's gonna do that just as fast. Take a look what Boeing did in 2017, 2018. When Boeing had this crazy run, 2017, 2018, it went up super fast, right? And it didn't really have a lot of time to build like support, right? That's very dangerous because look, with this COVID drop, I mean everything dropped like this, but Boeing, I wish it was some people. Nah, I think Brad was is Brad still in here? But Brad was trading that time, and I literally caught this Boeing drop all the way from here, all the way to under $200, right? Simply because of how fast it ran up. So even again, you got this super crazy drop. If it can get past 280, you really don't have another level until like almost getting up to the 300s. So I mean, this is not unreasonable at all. So Boeing can really keep going. I wish it would consolidate a little bit more, but Boeing can really, really keep going. I would watch Boeing if it starts to get above 266. So around 266 is where I would really, really watch Boeing. You could probably watch it a little bit before that, but 266, if it closes above that, it's probably gonna, it might be on my list for a swing trade. So kind of be ready for that. So watching Boeing because it has a bull flag pattern above 266. You're gonna say, oh, where do you think you can go? 266 to 270, right? So that's $4. There's plenty of money to be made on Boeing. All right. So the next level that I have is 278. That's $8, right? So from 266, that's $12. Sorry. Yeah, $12. So that's $12 from 266. So this can be a really big move. And then looking at that move compared to the move that this is implying, that's nothing. Right? So Boeing is gonna be interesting. Just be on the lookout for Boeing. Be ready. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. This is one that I want to watch too. I see it already. You know, I ain't even looked at it. Tesla. So Tesla, I'm gonna take you guys to the week. Tesla from the weekly, this is a bull flag pattern, right? Bull flag pattern on the weekly. We come down to the daily. It looks like we are going to be retesting around this area right here. Looks like we're gonna be retesting around here. So all up in here, it looks like we're gonna be retesting, right? Which is cool because you got to think about, okay, well, what is that? This was a key level right here at this 246, and it will also be retesting this top trend line from the weekly flag. So if Tesla was to be bullish off of here, you might want to buy the dip, right? So it's going to be very interesting. If it doesn't give you a bullish sign here, then you leave it alone because it could be a fake out, right? You always thinking about, you always have to think ahead. That's kind of how I always find these plays because every play that I kind of get into, I've probably been watching it for a couple days or even weeks. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be patient. You have to wait for the setups that you like to see. If I know I like to trade breaking retest or I like to trade patterns, I'm not trying to trade everything. I'm just looking or waiting for when things have a pattern or when I see things have an opportunity to give me the breaking retest or the pattern. That's the only the time that I'm trying to trade, right? So in 2024, make sure you trade what you know how to trade. You might say, I don't know how to trade nothing. You got to keep practicing. If I could show y'all my phone, man, I literally have I got thousands of charts in my phone from 2019. Right. So thousands of screenshots of charts. So it really takes practice. Um, so just be patient. Be patient. But yeah, Tesla, kind of looking for the retest up in here. It's already pretty much there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what it does tomorrow if we get down to this level. So that's Tesla. That's one I'm gonna be watching this week because I'm interested to see what it does down here. I'm pretty confident that it will come down here, so we'll see. Microsoft. Microsoft is one that I did kind of like um a couple weeks ago, but it's not really panning out how I thought it would. Um, what I will say of Microsoft, so does anybody know what this pattern is called right here? Anybody know what this pattern is called? This is another type of chart pattern right here. Does anybody know what that's called? You got a pole, you got two trend lines. Pennant. Yep, exactly. This is a pennant pattern. So a pennant pattern is neutral because it can go either way. This one is trying to break to the upside. So what I will say is I would watch this week because think about our levels. This is the all-time high. You applied it for you. It's the all-time high. Cool. Above 377, my next level isn't until the all-time high. Right. So we got, some nice touches around this 377. So if we get back above here, I'm looking for it to possibly come up here. That doesn't mean it's gonna do it in a day, right? So this could be a really, really good day trade. And let me tell you why. This is how you gotta start thinking about this. This can be a great day trade because we have a pattern. One, it's breaking out of the pattern. Two, you have a key level. Three, and you also have a good amount of space between the level to the next level you're expecting to go. Four things that's telling you, I need to be watching this, right? Because we don't got to catch it from 377 to 383. All we got to catch is a piece of the move. The large time frame is telling you that there is a big move that can possibly come, but all we have to do is catch a piece of the big move to make a profit. That's all we got to do. That's the basis behind my strategy, especially my day trade strategy, is to find the possible big move, and all we got to do is catch a piece of that. All we need is a piece of this move from 377 to 383. That's it. That's it. So Microsoft is one that I'm watching. So I'm put these in the chat. When I said I'm watching, put them in the chat with the explanation for those that couldn't hop on. So Microsoft is gonna be on watch above 377.66. So that's one that we're gonna be watching. I'm excited for that one. I think that's gonna be a good move if it plays out. But you also keep in mind you might need SPY to kind of turn around a little bit too for that one to kind of play out. Delta Airlines. This might be like a little flag pattern, possibly. So I mean, you kind of got to start thinking about sectors. So Delta Airlines is in the same sector as Boeing. Um, Same type pattern, flag pattern. So Delta is flagging. Boeing's flagging. That makes me think about American Airlines. Let's see what American Airlines. All right, they're not flagging, but they're not flagging. Delta and um Boeing is. So I would watch, and that could be a good sympathy play. Everybody can afford to play Boeing, but I promise you, everybody can afford to play Delta Airlines. They got some really cheap contracts. So Delta Airlines, let's kind of break this down. Flag pattern. Where would I take this above? Looks like I have a level that I should have labeled, but I don't have labeled right here. Let's make this a little bit more accurate. Let's see. Where would I put this? That looks pretty decent. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 touches right there at 41.24. So above 41.24, it's probably gonna go, but it's still $1 away from that. So we'll see. But yeah, above 41.24, Delta Airlines should go. So I wouldn't really worry about a whole lot till it gets there. So I'll probably put this in the chat too and just tell you set an alert. And once it gets there, we'll kind of reassess it from there about targets and stuff like that. That one isn't as immediate. So that's decent. Meta. I mean, this is not really a setup, so I would be moving on. Nvidia. So Nvidia, man, Nvidia has been playing around a lot. Nvidia is kind of near the all-time highs. So, I mean, that's really all you're kind of looking for is this 505. It's really the only thing I will actually look for. I won't look for anything else, but just notice that we've been getting up here and we've been getting rejected. So I don't know. We'll see. Not something I'll be watching too heavy though. AMD. I love some AMD. So they've been running. Kind of got to start going back now. You do have like some levels to the upside for sure, but I don't think I would watch AMD too much right now, just because I don't really like the setup too much. Not really a setup on a daily. So not anything I'll watch. MU looks like it's pulling back. So no setup. Not really a setup right now. Square, no setup. Mara, Jesus Christ. So Mara is one that it's gonna be interesting to see what it kind of does because I want Mara and Riot to kind of cool down a little bit so we kind of catch it on the dip. So I don't think I'll be watching Mara too heavy. Right now, I know Bitcoin is it was up a lot earlier, but so you know, I don't know. I'm kind of just looking for a cool down on Mara and Riot, pretty much. That's what I would like to see. If we get Riot to get back down to here, 12, if Riot gets back down to 12, buy it with both hands, right? If it gets back to 12, buy it with both hands. This would be the break and retest of this super key level. This is a weekly level, not a daily, not a 4 hour, a weekly. So watch out for that. All right, let's see what else we got. What else we got? Sheesh, yeah. Bitcoin is breaking out, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they open up at. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. Cool, cool, cool. Let's see. Bitcoin is breaking out. Shopify, not really a setup right now. But as far as the upside goes, actually, this might be decent. This could be decent only if it breaks to the upside. So if it breaks to the upside, this is a gap. So there's a gap right here from 79.92, or 79.98, pretty much from 80 all the way up here, um, past 83. So there's a more than $3 gap right there. So you can kind of see that it kind of has gotten up there twice and gotten rejected. So if it gets above 80, that's what we're kind of looking to start playing calls. And you might, kind of ask yourself, well, he's saying, you want to get in above this point. So you just get in when it hits it. That's not what I'm saying. You have to use your day trading tactics, right? So if we're looking at a bullish type trade, you need to be looking for bull flags, bullish breaking retests, things of that nature. You don't just get in just because something hits a price point. That is a mistake that I made when I first started learning to trade. It cost me a lot of money. So don't do that. Let's see. CRM, nothing. Walmart, not interested. Neo, I am interested. So congrats y'all if y'all caught that Neo, man. I caught literally the candle before this thing started to go down. When we got out, it was literally perfect. So as soon as it hit up here, I said I'm selling, right? And could it have kept going? It could have kept going, but it didn't. So that was actually a amazing exit on that. So we got out perfectly there. But Neo did have news that Tanya put in the chat, and I'm glad she put that in there because I did not see that. Let me read it to y'all because we're gonna need to kind of watch Neo this week too. Let me read it to you. So basically, Neo's numbers came out, and Neo deliveries for December 2023 was up 13% year over year, and they had two more. They delivered 50,000 vehicles in 3 months, which is 25% year over year. And they delivered 160,000 vehicles in 2023, increasing by 30% year over year. Right. So those are some huge increases, right? So don't be surprised if we see a gap up from Neo. So what we kind of be looking for Neo right here, we got a gap. We have a gap right here. So this gap is from 958 all the way up to 1021. That's what is that? Almost 70 cents. That is plenty of room to make profit on Neo. And kind of see how I'm doing this based upon the stock. 70 cents on SPY, it'd be cool. 70 cents on Neo, you can make you some money, right? Because this thing only went up from where we got in. It's like, what was it, like here at around 840, and we got out Neo only went up $1 and some change, and we was up 175% on the play. Right. So that just kind of tells you, how different it kind of is. You got to always think about how much is this relative to the stock. So we're watching Neo. Watching Neo. Lift. Mm, I was kind of liking Lyft a few days ago or a few sessions ago, but it kind of broke down. So not really watching it right now. Uber, same type thing. It had a bull flag pattern, but it ended up being a fake out. So kind of glad I didn't get in at all. Uber. Let's see. Snow. Snow is a play that I really like for 2024. I feel like Snow is gonna blow up this year, but not a setup right now. Not a setup right now. PayPal, don't like it right now. Now we're back to SPY. All right, so that's really it. That's it. We got a few stocks, but I'm gonna drop them in the chat. One that I do really, really like though for 2024 is Arc Innovation. So Arc Innovation, if you look at the monthly chart right here, it's in a monthly consolidation, right? And the levels that it kind of have is kind of crazy because it's a smaller stock. But just know that Arc was pretty expensive in 2020, 2021, right? So it was 160 bucks. But it's kind of breaking out of this consolidation. And just know this thing can go. So what I would kind of be looking for an entry, just to kind of give it to you quickly, because we've been on for a minute now, but um possibly if it fills this gap to the downside around 50, that could be decent. Or we could kind of consolidate around here. It's gonna be interesting to see, but anywhere between this 51 and 50, I wouldn't mind, picking up some long term. So be watching out for that too. I might be looking for a leap on Arc. I think Arc can possibly run this year. So be watching out for that. HD looks decent. I think it might be like a little flag, maybe. Let's see. That definitely kind of looks like a flag pattern. Looks like it might be a little flag, possibly. HD. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I probably wouldn't watch it a whole lot. I don't know. Looks like it might consolidate a little bit. I probably won't watch it a whole lot. But yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got. So that's really how I kind of go through and make my watch list. The most time that I spend is literally on the watch list. Most of the time, unless I'm live trading with y'all or live trading with the mentorship group, I literally go through and the process is not this long for me, honestly, because I kind of already know what I'm looking for. But during the day, I'm not really sitting here just looking at the screen. I literally set my alerts, and unless the alerts go off, then I'm not interested because I've already done the back. I know exactly where I'm looking at to get in. I know exactly why. You know what I'm saying? So all I got to do when my alert go off is look at the contracts, see how the stock moving. Is it giving me my types of entries I like to see? If it is, we take it because we already got it. We prepared, we planned. All we got to do is execute. We got prepare, plan, execute. Preparing and planning is what we're doing right now. Executing should be the easy part. It should be zero hesitation when these plays kind of start happening because we've already prepared for them. You know what I'm saying? So um this is the hard part. This is the dirty work. So if you can do this part, I promise you, it will make trading during the day a lot easier and a lot less stressful. You already know what you want to see. And if we don't get any of these plays, we won't be trading. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be cool with that too. It's over 200 trading days in a year, bro. I promise you, you'll be cool with not trading for a day or two. You will be perfectly fine. I promise you. The more you trade, the more you're gonna lose. And that's just the reality of it. So that's really what I got, man. That's all I got. I'm gonna be posting those in the chat. But my top one that I probably want to watch is it's probably gonna be Neo because they got that great news. I'm gonna be watching Neo heavy, as well as Microsoft. Microsoft can be a sleeper. So Um, those probably ones gonna be having on my screen early. I really like Microsoft. I really like Neo. Those two probably the ones I've been looking at the most. Say Netflix, is it flagging on a day? Let's see. NFL X, Netflix, it might be. Let's see. Netflix. Yeah. Yep. It's flagging on the daily. And it's right in the middle of a gap too. So it does have a little bit more to feel. See, I got that right there. Gap up to 506.93. So it does have a little bit more of the gap to fill. It filled it all the way up to 500. So you could catch a decent move. You get a good entry above like 495-ish. That's what it kind of looks like. So yeah, Netflix could be decent. Looks decent. That's definitely a bull flag though. But besides that, man, this is really all I do. It's kind of how I go through it every night. Like I said, this is the hard part. So this is the part that people don't want to do, the bad work. But I guarantee you it makes trading during the day 100 times easier. You don't got to sit there and look at the screen and find the play. You already know what you're looking for. You just being patient and waiting for it to happen. So um I'm putting these in the chat, man. If you got any questions about anything, just you know, hit me up because I'll be up. I'll be up for a few more hours because I got some stuff I gotta do. Gotta make some content for the page and stuff. Get that ready for next week. So if you got any questions, just let me know and I will answer it to you as fast as I can. But other than that, I appreciate y'all for hopping on. This is recorded, so I'll upload this to YouTube with a link and drop it in the chat for y'all. But besides that, that's all I got. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great night and a happy new year if y'all missed that. If you missed it at the beginning. Peace, y'all.